Stop whatever you are doing right now, because if you work in the UK or you are planning to work in the UK, the next few minutes could completely change your future. The rules have changed, the system has shifted, and thousands of workers and employers have no idea what is coming for them. Miss this information and you could lose your job, your visa, or your entire business sponsorship license. Stay with me because this is urgent. Welcome back to UK Visa Diary, the channel where we break down everything you need to know about living, working, and staying legally in the United Kingdom. I am here today with one of the most important immigration updates of the year, and trust me, you cannot afford to skip a single second of this video. Whether you are a skilled worker, a care worker, a student transitioning to work, or an employer holding a sponsorship license, this July 2026 update affects you directly. So hit that subscribe button right now because we drop these critical updates regularly, and you never want to be the last one to find out. Now let us get straight into what has changed and why it matters so much. The UK Home Office has rolled out significant changes to the immigration and work visa framework starting July 2026. These changes are not minor tweaks. They are structural shifts that touch the skilled worker visa route, the health and care visa, salary thresholds, sponsorship license obligations, and the points-based system itself. The government has made it clear that the era of cheap labor migration is over, and the focus now is on high-skilled, high-salary migration that benefits the British economy long-term. The first and perhaps most talked about change is the updated salary threshold for skilled worker visa holders. Earlier in 2024, the salary threshold was already raised significantly, but from July 2026, there are further occupation-specific adjustments that employers must follow. The general minimum salary for most skilled worker roles has been revised upward, and going rate salaries for specific occupation codes have also been updated to reflect current market conditions. This means that if you are currently sponsored on a salary that was compliant last year, you need to verify with your employer right now whether your package still meets the new threshold. If it does not, your employer is legally required to increase your salary, or they risk losing their sponsorship license. For employers, this is a serious compliance issue. The Home Office has increased the frequency of sponsor audits and has also tightened the reporting obligations that licensed sponsors must follow. If you are an employer holding a sponsorship license, you must ensure that every sponsored worker on your payroll is being paid at or above the current going rate for their occupation code. Failure to comply does not just result in a fine. It can mean immediate suspension or revocation of your sponsorship license, which means all your sponsored workers lose their visa status almost immediately. The consequences are devastating for both the employer and the employee. The second major change involves the health and care visa route. This route, which was widely used to recruit overseas care workers and senior care workers, has now been placed under even stricter conditions. Following the temporary restrictions introduced in previous years due to concerns about exploitation and abuse within the care sector, the July 2026 update brings in new mandatory requirements for care providers. Every registered care provider wishing to sponsor overseas workers must now demonstrate active Care Quality Commission registration and must provide evidence of genuine vacancies that could not be filled by the resident labor market. The scrutiny level has gone up dramatically, and applications that previously sailed through are now being refused at much higher rates. For overseas care workers who are already in the UK on a health and care visa, there are new rules around changing employers. The process remains possible, but the timeline and documentation requirements have become more demanding. If your care employer closes, loses their license, or asks you to leave, you now have a shorter window to find a new licensed sponsor before your visa status is at risk. Acting quickly is essential, and seeking legal advice from a qualified immigration advisor is strongly recommended. The third major update is around dependents and family members of skilled workers. There have been renewed discussions and policy movements around restricting the rights of dependents to bring additional family members or to access certain public funds. While the core right to bring a spouse or children remains intact, the financial requirements for sponsoring dependents have increased, and the documentary evidence expected with applications has expanded. Many families have found their applications delayed or refused due to missing or insufficient financial evidence. So, being thorough and detailed in your application is more important than ever. The fourth update that every worker must know about is the change to the immigration skills charge paid by employers. This charge, which is levied on employers for each year they sponsor a skilled worker, has increased once again. For small or charitable organizations, the rate is lower, but for medium and large businesses, the cost per sponsored worker per year has gone up considerably. This is causing some employers to reconsider how many overseas workers they sponsor, and in some cases, businesses are choosing not to renew sponsorships when workers come up for visa extensions. If your visa renewal is coming up, have a direct and honest conversation with your HR department now, not later. Finally, the points-based system is undergoing a digital overhaul. The UK Visas and Immigration Service is moving more of the application process online and introducing new digital identity verification steps. This is broadly a positive change as it speeds up processing times, but it also means that applicants who are not comfortable with digital processes or who do not have access to the required technology may face new barriers. Support services are available, but you need to seek them out proactively. To bring everything together, July 2026 marks a turning point in UK immigration policy. Salaries must be higher, compliance must be tighter, documentation must be stronger, and both workers and employers must be more alert than ever before to avoid serious consequences. Do not wait until you receive a letter from the Home Office or until your employer calls you into a meeting with bad news. Take action today. Check your current salary against the new occupation-specific thresholds. Speak to your employer about compliance. If you are an employer, audit your sponsorship obligations right now. If you found this video helpful, please share it with every worker and employer in your community who needs this information. Subscribe to UK Visa Diary for weekly updates that keep you one step ahead of every change in UK immigration law. Drop your questions in the comments below and I will do my best to address them in upcoming videos. Stay informed, stay legal, and I will see you in the next one. Sonnet 4.6 Low.